Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going deep. We're going to talk about a part of you that's running the show, shaping almost everything you do, think, and feel. And most of the time, you don't even know it's there. Yep, we're talking about the unconscious mind.
So let me ask you this. Ever feel like you're caught in a loop? Maybe it's ending up in the same kind of relationship, having the same exact argument, or hitting that same wall of burnout, and you're just left wondering, how on earth did I get here again? It's a super common feeling, and the answer is almost always hiding just below the surface.
And this idea right here, it's the whole key. A massive chunk of your brain is operating in the background, on autopilot, silently steering your life. It's pretty wild when you think about it, right? Okay, so what is this hidden control center, really? Let's break down how it works as our mind's incredibly powerful and sometimes, kind of problematic autopilot. The best way to picture it is like a huge, invisible library inside of you. It's got everything cataloged, your oldest memories, your deepest fears, things you want, things you've learned. You're not consciously browsing the shelves, but believe me, that library is influencing every decision you make. And the difference between your conscious and unconscious mind, it's night and day. Right now, you're using your conscious mind. You're thinking, you're choosing to listen. But your unconscious, that's all instinct and automatic feelings. It's why you don't have to choose to breathe. It's why you get a weird, instant gut feeling about someone and you can't explain why. That's your unconscious whispering to you. So, why is this so important to get? Because that hidden system, that autopilot, it's very often the exact reason we feel so stuck, playing out the same emotional dramas on a loop. This autopilot metaphor is just perfect. See, the main job of your unconscious mind is to keep you safe, using rules it learned from your past. But, and this is a huge but, the very thing that kept you safe when you were a kid might be the exact thing that's trapping you as an adult.
And this is where it gets real. Feeling anxious when everything is totally fine, always picking partners who seem like a project, constantly burning out, or blowing things up right when they start going well. These aren't just random bad habits. They're usually patterns being driven by that old, outdated autopilot.
So what's actually stored in there? Well, it's a whole mix of stuff. Old wounds we never quite healed from, beliefs we soaked up like, I'm not good enough, survival strategies that we don't need anymore. And because it's all unconscious, we don't see this programming. We just live it out every single day. To make this totally clear, let's look at a real-world example. I want to tell you a story about a guy named Aiden. His experience shows this whole thing in action perfectly. So here's Aiden. On paper, he's got it all. He's smart, successful, a genuinely good guy. But he has this one massive problem. Every time a relationship gets good and healthy, he just wrecks it. And here's the specific pattern. If a partner is kind, loving, and available, he gets distant and eventually disappears. But if someone is emotionally unavailable and distant, he becomes totally obsessed, convinced they're the one. Sound familiar to anyone? So after a lot of reflection, Eden figured it out. Growing up, he had a parent who was loving but also really unpredictable. So his little kid brain learned a very dangerous lesson. Love feels like chaos. That feeling of emotional pain, that feels like connection. And this is the big aha moment. This is the core conflict. When Aiden feels calm and safety in a relationship, his unconscious mind screams, warning, this is boring. This isn't love. The spark he was always chasing wasn't true passion. It was the familiar, painful feeling of emotional chaos he learned as a kid. Now, Aiden's story shows us the trap, but it also lights up the path out. So how do we even begin to work with this hidden, powerful part of ourselves? Let's talk about the way forward. This is the million-dollar question, isn't it? If we can't even see what's driving us, are we just screwed? Doomed to repeat these patterns forever? And the answer, thankfully, is a huge, hopeful no. You absolutely can change it. Now, the process isn't about waging war on your unconscious mind. It's actually about becoming a friendly detective. First, you just notice the pattern. No judgment, just, there it is again. That's awareness. Then you get curious. You reflect on where it might have come from. And finally, and this is key, you don't force change, you invite it. For Aiden, this meant learning to just sit with the uncomfortable feeling of a safe relationship until that calm started to feel less like boredom and more like home.
And really, this says it all. Healing and change don't start with fixing something. They start with the courage to just look, to see what's really there. That awareness unlocks everything. So as we wrap this up, let's hammer home the single most important idea to take away from our little dive into the unconscious.
Forget trying to muscle your way through or forcing yourself to be different. The deepest, most real change you can make starts with the simple, quiet, and courageous act of looking at your own patterns and just asking, why?
So here's what to remember. Your unconscious is your powerful autopilot, and sometimes it keeps you stuck in the past. As we saw with Aiden, its programming is often written way back in childhood. But the most powerful tool you have to start rewriting that code is just gentle, non-judgmental awareness. So we've seen how this autopilot works. But what happens when that autopilot starts building walls to protect you? In our next explainer, we are going to get into the really fascinating world of psychological defense mechanisms, all the clever and sometimes crazy ways our mind tries to keep us safe. You won't want to miss it. Thanks for joining us.